So I put down here Pip and Graham in the 50s and 60s. We actually met at Sunday school in the late 1940s. Now that's a long time ago. And okay, here we go. I bought my first car in 1950. It was a 1946 Nash. See, we weren't into buying new cars back then. I bought my second car in 1954. That was a 1950 Nash. And I joined the National Guard in February 1954, and I was in the Guard for 7.5 years. We became engaged on Easter Sunday Eve in 1955, so this is an auspicious occasion.
Yeah, Easter's always been a special day for us.
So we were engaged 59 years ago today.
And what we did was we had been out to the movies and all, and he gave me the ring at a parking place, and we went back and we went to my house and we told them, went to his house and told them, and then we stayed up talking because the youth group at church were going to have a sunrise service, and so we wanted to tell all our friends. So we stayed up all night and went to the service and all. Then we were married on November 12th, 55.
And after we got married, we moved into a 2-room cottage. This 2-room cottage had no heat. It was heated by a stove. And it
Had a chemical toilet.
We had a regular toilet. You keep telling people chemical. It was a regular toilet.
By the time we got married?
Yeah.
Oh,
and we had no bath or shower. We had no shower or tub, so we had to stop at her mother's to get showers a couple of times a week. Anyway, we moved to California in August of 56. And we drove all that way in that 1950 Nash.
With all our wedding presents, anything we could fit in the car.
Including a little television set.
Yeah.
And your ironing board.
And my ironing board. And we went up some of the Rockies and mountains, and going up, we didn't know we'd make it up. And I had my hand on the door ready to jump out. And going down, we just kept speeding, and I was afraid to go down the mountain and go off the hill. It was quite a ride for a couple of 21-year-olds, or 20 at the time.
It was 20. Anyway, I had already flown out to California in May of that year and arranged for a job at the Bank of America, where I worked for a couple of years. And Graham, when we moved out there, she got a job at State Farm Insurance. And we were only there about 20 months. And while we were there, we lived in 3 different places, 3 different apartments. And let's see, we bought a 56 Plymouth. This was 1957. So we bought a year-old car.
A year-old, we moved up. But the car in California, they have air conditioners and very poor heaters, because at that time.
And that was the second-hand car.
Because, they didn't really need it that much. So we decided to come back. My folks had come out a couple of times, but we missed being with our family in our home. So we came back in 58 in that 56 Plymouth. And a couple of things interesting on that trip. We were going across the Continental Divide and ran into a 10-minute maybe?
We ran into a whiteout, like a fog bank.
But it was snow.
No, it was just fog.
Was it?
Yeah, it was fog. Well, it was real cold, so our windshield frosted up briefly, and we were going at a good clip, probably 65, 70. And I was driving, and the only thing I could see was the taillights of a big semi in front of us.
You could not see a thing.
And he was going along. So I just basically stuck my head out the window and followed his headlights until our windshield cleared. And it cleared off in just a few seconds. It was very quick, but it seemed like it was forever.
And the thing was, you couldn't stop because you didn't know if somebody was behind you.
Yeah, we didn't know who
And
was
they
behind
might
us.
stop, or whether there was a cliff on the side of you. So we kept going, and it was a hair rising ride. And also, with that heater, once we started getting into the middle of the country and getting colder,
Yeah, this was January
yeah.
'58, by the way.
we had a blanket, and we changed drivers every 2 or 3 hours. And whoever wasn't driving sat there and warmed up with the blanket. They moved. And then we had one other incident driving home. We had a cat, and we brought the cat with us. Well, in those days, they didn't have kitty litter. So the only way we could get dirt for a box that we had, that we went into motels with, was to stop at construction sites and go and ask the guys if they would dig us up some dirt for our cat. Every stop we made, they made quite a joke out of it.
Yeah,
I thought that was
yeah,
pretty funny.
we never had a problem getting the dirt. But when I think back, though, it was kind of smelly in that car.
It was. Yes.
Anyway, your dad was born in February of 1960, and I'd like to say that when he was being born, I was watching the Americans beat the Russians in Olympic hockey in 1960.
In those days, the men could not go into the hospital room with the women. So he's home eating pie his mother had made, watching the game, having a ball. And I was 23 hours in 36 hours in labor and didn't see him that whole time. So, but anyway, he came out. And then you got a job.
I got a job at the savings bank, Charlestown Savings Bank, where I worked for 30 years. Granny went to work for MIT in their biology lab, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I'm sure you knew what MIT was. Anyway, she worked there until, let's see, would have been until David was born.
Yeah, till David was born.
Right.
Yeah.
And we bought our first house in 1962 in Quincy, Massachusetts. Birthplace of John Adams and John Quincy Adams. And your Uncle Rich was born on December 20th, 1962. And what else do you want to know?